Good morning guys. Well, today we're going to be fishing a well-stocked day ticket water in Cardiff, Hendra Lake, and what I want to do is show you guys how to get the best out of these types of waters. We're going to go through rigs, bait, and the all-important choosing a swim. So whilst I finish unloading the van, you guys take a little look at how I first became introduced to this lake many years ago. See you on the bank.
Back in the late 70s, my family moved from the centre of Cardiff to the outskirts. I was about 7 or 8 at the time. Living close to the city meant we didn't really have much in the way of fields with wildlife and so on. So moving to an area that was on the edge of Cardiff opened up a whole new world to a young, adventurous kid like myself. Our new house was now only a garden away from farm fields with horses, streams and a great big lake at the end of the road. It was a million miles away from what I was used to. Although playing in the fields and streams was great fun, the main focus of interest was always Hendra Lake. It seemed to be a popular place with the locals, and it wasn't long before I would have my own rod and reel. Fishing would mainly be roach, perch and the almost forgotten ruff, whilst the other lads would be sitting behind 2 to 3 rods waiting for the bigger residents of the lake, carp. I think most of my school holidays were spent either walking or riding my bike between the house and the stream that led to the lake. Over the years, the lake has matured a lot, with the surrounding fields now becoming residential. And fast forward almost 40 years, I actually now manage the lake myself.
Okay, so that's a little look into the history of the lake and myself. We're actually on the lake now. We're going to have a quick walk around, see if we can find ourselves a swim. There's a little bit of rain forecast this afternoon, so I think as soon as we can get that sheltered up and a bit of bait out, the better. Hopefully we'll see some fish on our way around, so let's go see if we can find ourselves a swim. Well, we've managed to locate ourselves a swim at the top end of the lake. It's actually the last swim you can actually fish on the lake. The top end is a nature reserve, so that's an out of bounds area. Now I've got no anglers to my left, but I've got plenty of anglers down to my right. So the lake is quite pressured down that end. I'm hoping the fish are going to push up this way. I have seen fish in the area, so fingers crossed we're going to get a bit of bait out and see how the session goes. Well, that really didn't take long at all. No sooner as I got the rods out, got a bit of bait over the top of them. One's roared off straight away, so get this one landed and see what we got. Well, there you go, an absolutely cracking minute to start off the session. Didn't take them long to get onto that bait. I'm going to slip this one back and hopefully get into another one. Okay, so let's take a little look at the bait we're going to be using today. And I've opted to use the Candy Nut Crush from the Instant Action range. It's a brilliant bait. I'm using whole 15 millers. I'm using chopped up 15 millers as well. And to this, I've given it a little bit of added attraction and added the Scopex Squid Syrup. The reason I've added that is because I am fishing a day ticket water. It is pressured, there are a lot of anglers on and they're all putting bait in. What I want to try and do is home those fish into my swim, and by using this it's going to give me that advantage and give me that little bit of an edge. The fish will home in on it and hopefully we'll be bagging a few.
Well, over the next few hours the fish really did switch onto that bait and I landed fish after fish. But then the weather changed, the rain came, and a change of swim was on the cards.
Well, as you can probably already tell, the weather's taken a slight change for the worse and the rain's come in, just as expected to be honest. We were down at the shallower end of the lake earlier, with the sun up, we're catching fish, they were down there. But as soon as that cloud cover came over and the rain started, I couldn't see the fish showing, but I noticed a few fish moving further on down the lake. So it seems as though they've moved into the deeper water. So we've packed up our gear, we're moved down, we're going to get some bait out now, and hopefully those runs are going to keep on coming. We're probably going to wait another 2 or 3 hours before we pack up and go home, so let's see what we can do in the last few hours. Okay, so we've seen the bait, let's have a look at the rig. These types of waters, I like to keep it as simple as I possibly can. So for that reason, I've got a fish on. Well, sorry about that, but I was just going to show you what type of rig we've been using. I'd been getting a few liners, so I switched the alarm off so it didn't interrupt with the filming, and I could hear the clutch going, click, 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 and then it just roared off. So I've just landed a fish, about 12 or 13 pound, got that one on a bank, and the other rod's bent round as well. So I think they've really come on top of that bait now, so that's really good. I've got the rods back out, so I'm going to show you this as simple and as quickly as I can. Simple knotless knot for these type of waters. I don't try to make it as difficult. They're not very riggy. There's a good head of stock in here, so the fish are hungry. They're always searching for food, so they're not that riggy at all. I'm using a size 7 Fang X, and the only thing I've really added to that is a hook kicker, just to help that hook turn round when it drops into the fish's mouth. I'm fishing that to an inline setup, and I am using rig tubing. The reason I'm using rig tubing is because, and I can't emphasize enough guys, to check these waters before you fish them. Check the rules, see what you are allowed to use, see what you're not allowed to use. And on this type of water, you're not allowed to use leaders or lead core, so it's a rig tube must. So I'm using the non-spook camo diffusion, like I say, down to an inline setup. Short hook link, I don't know, 4 to 5 inches long. And it couldn't be no simpler. Well, unfortunately, time's caught up with us. It's time to go home. We've packed up the barrel, ready to go. We've had a fantastic day's fishing. We've got plenty of fish. It's been a really good day. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves as well, and I hope to catch you on a bank soon. See you soon. We fight the unknown on a journey back home. What's waiting, I don't know. I'm trying.